best friends that I would tell him about the times that me and Mr. Tommy O'Meara had an airplane rig. I was walking down to the drugstore, and Mr. Tom was up at the filling station. He called me and asked me, he said, when you go up Thomasville, will you bring this company truck back home? And my airplane's up there on the landing strip where the radar base. So we drove up there, and there was a hangar out there, and he drove Dodge truck right up the side of the hangar. We got out, and the little plane was sitting there, and Mr. Tom got in it. He tried to crank. Would never crank for it. He said, Buddy, did you have a proper plane? I said, Mr. Tom, this is the first time I've seen one on the ground. So he said, well, I tell you, you get in there and hold the brake. What he meant was spin it up. So I got in there, and he didn't tell me everything. He just said, put your feet on these two pedals, right? One of them was the brake, heel, and the other was the rudder. He didn't hit. So I sat up in there looking like a tree full of owls. That's the first time I'd ever seen inside a plane. So he got out, give it a spin, it didn't crank, give it another one. And on the third round, he spun it around and it fired off. It started easing on. I said, oh, what am I going to do? And I was mashing the pedal hard enough for him to go through the floor. It picked up speed and went right toward the hangar. And the wing hit the hangar and the plane turned and the fella started hitting the side of that truck. It break off a little piece and go about 100 feet high. Way after a while, it just kept inching up, knocking a piece off, knocking. And then Mr. Tom got there then and shut the switch off. He said, well, let's get out. Pull it back out of the way. So we got out, and I squatted down. He said, what's the matter? I said, my knees are so weak, you won't want to. That's why we got a hold of the tail of the plane and pulled it back, and I looked at it, just two little nubbins on it. The old wing laid back on it. We looked at it, and I said, Mr. Tom, that looks bad. He said, yeah, but that's what you have insurance for. I said, yeah, but an inexperienced pilot. So we got back out of the way, got back in the truck, and went on around Thomasville, stopped at the filling station. Him to call the people themselves to come back and take the plane. I was standing out there side of the truck, drove the Bentley. Some people still remember drove the Bentley. He come by, he said, how come you so white? I said, I'm scared to death. He said, what happened? I told him, and he just started laughing. He didn't believe it at first. He decided he'd go back out there and shoot. But anyway, he beat me home, and old barbershop was right up there. And he told everybody about it before I got home. But when we got to Grove Hill, Mr. Tom told me to just park this truck in the yard down there. Everybody knows where the Harrigan house is. So I got back over here and I drove in the yard. I asked him, I said, before we left Grove Hill, I said, Mr. Tom, what if Mr. Harry comes out here and asks me what happened to this truck? He said, don't tell him nothing. He goes, that ain't the exact words he used. So I got back over here and I drove up in the yard, and luckily Mr. Harrigan didn't come out. I told Mr. Tom, though, I said, I hope he don't come out, because if I tell him an airplane run over his truck, but I'm going to leave y'all with another joke. We got black people here. This is about one of the funniest black men I ever knew. Lucius Weston. He was young, liked to talk. Meals shut down in the evening, they'd come over to the old store, you know. And Lucius was telling them all about the time he was hoboing over in Georgia. And that was in the days in Georgia, you know how things were over there. He said he stepped off that freight train and he looked around, he didn't see no black people. He said, what about undone? He said, man, he used up, caught him by the arm. He says, fellow, we don't need no black people here. He said, you look like you're a pretty good fellow. If I let you go, will you catch the next freight train? He said, Captain, you'll let me go out.